Okay, so I have a feeling that what I did changed it because now I'm all green. And just weirdness, you guys. Just weirdness that something didn't want me to do that at all. Okay, so now I'm back. I didn't mean to go away. Man, I got abducted. Now I should be, well, there it goes red again. I don't know what's going on, but I did so many changes today. I had it all like really good last night, and then I tried to add a monitor, and I couldn't add it. I mean, all the monitors were like, some of them didn't work, and then I guess they left them out in the open outside too long. And then some of them were the wrong, they're like little square ones, and my regular monitor's not that, so it didn't match, and it was like messing with the settings. And then I upgraded the internet so that it would be faster and I wouldn't have all these problems. And it says experiencing interruptions, find out why. Because you're not a paid YouTube thing, right? Is that what it's going to tell me? But so then when I reset the settings, it said I could reset the settings in the studio, and I didn't mess with it too much. I just changed one thing, but you know, it really messed me up. And I have no idea what's going on. It says my results are my video consumption and streaming quality went low. So whatever. I want to get back to what I was doing. But it's cool. Like I hope you guys. I'm just gonna leave the video. I'm not gonna play it. I'm just gonna let it go. So what do we got? Yeah, I reset the feed. Sorry about that, but it's still not. It's still not acting right. I don't know why. I'll keep working on it. This is only so you only heard half the story. It cut you off before the story was over. Which part of the story? Can you let me know on that one? But yeah, this whole thing is like real fun. I'm having fun. It's a little bit exasperating, that this thing wants to do this tonight, and it might be what I was talking about too. It really could. Uh, it really could. But only I recorded it. So what I'll do is I'll upload the recorded version, which has no skipping, no freezing, no any of that. And then once it's uploaded, then I'll delete the one that recorded the live one that has all the skipping and everything in it. And if you want, you could go back and listen to it again. I know that's a pain, but somebody's calling me on my tablet. Like, quit. I missed a call. Sorry. Okay, back to what I was doing. So only half the story, huh? Yeah, I didn't tell her to go in the driveway. My wife invited her to come in and told her just park in the driveway. Okay, and that's the thing about these entity things in the other dimension. They live in another dimension, and in other cultures call them jinn. I mean, there's a lot of names for these things, right? They're not good. Most of the time, they're not good. The good ones don't really let themselves be known at all, hardly. They'll do things like save you from an accident, and you'll know mostly by looking back in your life. You'll see where they were. You know what I mean? they're not like intrusive. Like some of these, they're out to kill you, destroy you. They're out to hurt your family. They're out to they're out to cause distress, financial loss. They cause divorce. I mean, they're not nice. But my wife invited her into the driveway, and that invited her back on the property. Because like if you're married to somebody, it's not like you're the king, you know what I mean, and you have authority over that other person. When the creator looks at you, he looks at you like one person. He made you one. So you're husband and wife, but you're one to him. So each one is an equal authority over the things that you own. So then my wife could invite the girl back, and that didn't supersede my authority, but she has equal authority, and then I didn't disagree with it either. You know what I mean? Like I thought maybe it's worth a try, you know. But a few weeks later I was doing it again, you know, and it wasn't even, I mean, not even a minute after I said that little prayer, out the door she went, you know, like, and she's not the only, this isn't the only time that she's not the only one. She's just different in that it happened twice with her. But I've prayed lots of things out of my house, and for some reason, and I didn't know that it was attached to people, but almost instantly and instantaneous, those people couldn't stay in my house anymore. They had to go. And it wasn't because I sent them out. I sent something else out. I would have been happy with them being in there. But also at the same time, if whatever it is hooked to them, I don't want them in my house either. You know what I mean? So like if they're bringing that to my house, no matter how much I like the person, I'm not giving permission for them to come back until they either come to me about getting rid of it, or they can prove they don't have it anymore. You know? But yeah. How many dimensions? I have no idea. I wish I knew, but I don't. I know that when we finally leave this realm, because we only stay here for a little while, and then we're going to go to a realm where we could see all the dimensions. You know what I'm saying? Like when we're here, if you look at science, and they know there's like, say there's this much light, you know, spectrum. We only see like this much of it, okay? Maybe even less. So we can't see all the spectrum of light, which could be all the one huge giant like bunch of dimensions. But that doesn't mean that that's only what we know, right? It could even be more than that. You know what I mean? Like it could be even more than that. So I don't know how many there is, but I do know there's some in another dimension, and they're actually on this earth, and they can't go anywhere else because there was nothing created for them to be anywhere else. Like we were created to be somewhere else. We were created actually to live forever. And when you read any ancient books, even from all the, well, let's see, like most of the ancient stuff, you will read that people lived 1,000 years, 800 years, 600 years. I mean, there's stories of it all over the place. So we weren't created to be like that. And I actually believe there's a day coming one day, and I think it's really close because of how the veil is getting so thin, that there's like a covering where that's keeping us where we can't see all the light spectrum and all the dimensions and everything in those other dimensions. I think we were created to see them, but we fell from grace and our flesh is corrupt. That's why there's death and sickness and disease. It isn't because God's bad. It's because we were bad first, and then he said, okay, that there wasn't even thorns and mosquitoes and all that. I mean, all that happened because we fell, and it was all created for us, so it had to all be cursed. I mean, read the story, have some fun, research it. It's real interesting stuff. I mean, seriously, even if you read it, if you read it and really think about it and think about how everything is, and then test it like I do, test it, test the beliefs, test them. I mean, don't go with sometimes it works. Go with the one that gives you 100% results all the time, because there's one that does, and I do it all the time, and it's amazing. And I want everybody to know that, and everybody to, because it's all love. It's all encompassing. It's cool. Some of the other ones aren't so cool, you know. Okay, let's see what we got here. Yeah, the string theory says 11. Well, see, that's what we know, right? We know string theory is this much, but there's also like other theories that of the infinite dimensions and all that stuff. You know, I mean, like it's really bigger than us. You know, really. What's really cool is it was all created for us, and these other things that are here running around, they're actually jealous of us because there's something different about us that they don't get to have. They were created a different way, and they actually have gifts and all that stuff, and they're beautiful. If they want to show themselves as light and all that, that's how they could trick people, because they actually are dimensional beautiful beings. That's how they were created, but only they say they left their first estate because they thought our women were really good looking. So they left their first estate to come over here, and then they wanted to be gods. They wanted to be worshipped because of they're so beautiful and great and everything. And they left their first estate and they took on a flesh. They took on flesh, and then they procreated and they made giants and stuff like that that's wandering through the land, right? And then they corrupted all flesh, it said. And I think that means DNA. I think they corrupted the DNA. And I actually think they're trying to keep one person from being born that was promised that he was going to use this person to stomp the other the fallen one and all his legions. Well, I think they knew that, so they didn't know when it was going to happen. So they decided they were going to corrupt the seed, the DNA, and corrupt it forever, ever and ever. And then that one person couldn't be born because he had to be perfect in all his ways. And if they corrupted everything, there would be no one. So then he created the flood and he got rid of everybody and he saved one guy that was perfect. That left a line, a lineage of perfect somewhere that guy could be born. And even because he was married to other people that weren't perfect, it still made a line that was perfect. You know, like DNA doesn't always, like you could have a mutation in the DNA and it'll only pick up certain generations, or you know what I mean? Like some people will be born normal and the other ones won't, type thing. So there was this way for, and only he would know which one was the perfect DNA to go through. Only he would know that. You know, what's interesting is they found some blood where he was supposedly hung on a tree, and there was an earthquake, and then the earth cracked open, and this guy found some blood on the dirt and rocks, that flowed down, and he took it and had it tested and only had one chromosome. That was before DNA. Okay, now, everyone has two chromosomes. The only one that wouldn't have two chromosomes is somebody that didn't have a dad, right? Born of a virgin, didn't have a dad, so it only had one chromosome. I mean, it's just an interesting thing. Research it. It's interesting. I love interesting, and I'm not picking on people here. I'm just saying, um, this is out there, and it's interesting, and a lot of times it shoots down all the other things. And I know when I was in Africa, if I didn't have something, I would be dead. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. Yeah, like I'm sorry about that. It's still not, it's still not giving me the it's still not giving me the right good stream. And I even turned this video off just so I only could see the chat. But so is there anything you guys really want to talk about now, or are we like good? Yeah, I don't really believe there's junk DNA either. They call it junk DNA because they don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what it does. It's junk. I mean, I don't want to. And then the thing where, like, you only use 10% of your brain. Baloney. Use 100% of it. You do. Use 100% of it. But we're, like, messed up, so we're not using the 100% that we have 100%ly that it's capable of. You know what I mean? But we still use 100% of the brain. We're just not all the way fully using it to its full capability. We have the settings set low. Yeah, I would think that's what it is. Yeah, so I'm having so many problems. The chat is lagging. Can you believe that? Yeah. Yeah, the cancer thing, like, I wish I knew why. That's the only one that doesn't work 100%, is the healing one. And I don't understand that. Like, I've seen healings after healings after healings, and then I see none. And I seen a healing on me, and now I don't. Like, I think I have the thorn in the flesh thing. I think there's reasons, there's lessons in what you have. And I'm not necessarily sure that this life was supposed to be so good. You know what I mean? Like, he cursed it and everything. But I am sure that when we leave this realm, that everyone leaves sooner or later. You can't take it with you type thing. I mean, everybody I know that they one day they go. You know what I mean? But they're not gone. They're somewhere else. Like Richard Kiel, for instance, when this is the most amazing thing. Richard Kiel became a believer, and his daughter was Little Miss America, and then she was Little Miss Preteen America, Teen America, or something like that. And she was really into gymnastics, and they got to the finals, and she was really good at it, and she broke her wrist. And Richard knew my mentor, and I was his cameraman for a little while, and did some things with them and my family. And he came over and he asked for healing for his daughter's wrist because she had to that day go do gymnastics, and with a broken wrist, you can't do gymnastics. You know, not all the stuff she did, all that floor jumping and bouncing and stuff, and all that stuff. Well, we all prayed for her, and then her wrist was healed completely, and she went and won that day, the same day. So sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. Like Richard got hurt in a rollover car accident. That's why when in Happy Gilmore, you know, you've seen him where it looks like he's running, you know, but he's not really running. There was a cart. He was on a cart and they were pushing him, and he was just standing there going like that, and he was kind of strapped onto it. But he wanted healing too, but he didn't get healing. But he still lived a long life, like somebody that's 7'2" and weighs, you know, over 500 pounds, and they're fit. I mean, he was not fat before he got hurt. He was a good 475, 500 pounds, something like that. I mean, he was a big guy. Usually those guys, they don't live a long time. Things happen to him and they don't live. He lived till he was like 72. But he hardly could walk for a lot of it, but it didn't slow him down. He's like me. I mean, he had a little scooter thing, and I mean, in his last year of his life, I would go, you know, I would like email him and say I want to come over or something, and he's like, I'm in Sweden shooting a commercial. I'm in France. I'm in Japan. He was all over the world, and he was riding on a little scooter thing, and one made for us, right? Like one time we always met. We always sat on his bed because he has this monster, massive bed. I mean, the biggest bed I ever saw in my life. I think it was custom made, and we'd sit there. And one day, you know, I asked him like, "How come everything in your house you like is normal? Like normal doors, normal chairs, normal furniture, normal." Normal. The only thing not normal is the bed. And he's like, well, he goes, I want to be comfortable everywhere I go. And he said, if everything was made my size here, I would never leave because I was too comfortable at home. He says, but that said, I have to have a bed I'm comfortable in. So he had a big bed made. He said when he goes like to Japan and some of those places where there's little people, real little people, he said he has to get two beds and push them together lengthwise so that he could sleep comfortable, because that's the only thing he cared about being comfortable at was in bed. And it made sense because you spend, you know, half your life in your bed. But he said if he made the big chairs and the big everything in his house where it was comfortable for him, he never would leave. It was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But I mean, just a little insight. I don't think his family will care I share that. That's interesting. Okay, so get Linda Howe on the show. She was on somebody's show for 45 minutes. Okay, like, I'm not ready to put people on the show yet. I don't have all the stuff together, but only I am purchasing it. I spent some time today buying some stuff. And I will have some people on. Like, I have some friends, and I know you guys all would love them. And not all of them are famous, but they have really good stories. And you guys do too, so I want you guys on too. I mean, like, it's for everybody to hang out with. Everybody. But I will have some guests on, and we'll talk to them and stuff. They'll hang out with us. Sometimes it'll be a famous person, and they'll hang out with us. You know what I mean? Like, just chatting, just like this, just chatting. I can't wait. I think it's so cool to be able to just chat with you guys, and you know, I like it whenever somebody gives me an idea on chat, because I really wasn't ready. And those two shots last night, man, I was so messed up from that. It's a wonder I even could talk last night. Yep. You know, and I'm still tired even today because it didn't really let me sleep like how I thought it was going to let me sleep. Well, I don't want to ramble either. Like, I think rambling could kill the channel. And I don't want to ramble, so I don't really have nothing else, and the chat's moving really slow, and the internet's moving really slow, and I think I talked about some pretty cool stuff tonight, and so I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'm gonna mess with it all day again tomorrow and see if I can't um, make it work better. Because I mean, I want it to work really bad, and right now I'm still not using the right equipment and all that, but and that could be the problem, and I don't have it tuned in exactly right. But if you think it's interesting, tell people to subscribe. Share the videos. I don't know if this one was that great. Hopefully someday they're good enough to share, but at least have subscribe and stuff. Let me know what you think in the chat, and you guys have a really, really good evening. Okay.